ever-changing shifts in the transportation industry and increasing demand for cars and ultimately tires is forecasted to grow at a compounded annual growth rate of 6.8% and valued at $550 billion by the year 2027. This is Eugene from Market Insider, and today we'll be focusing on three key topics of the car tire industry, mainly on the introduction of the car tire supply chain model, moving on to the information systems that key leaders are utilizing, and finally the upcoming challenges in the upcoming decade. Before tires are fitted with cars, they go through a series of networks such as supply, conversion, and distribution network. The supply network, having the first and second tiers, sees raw material sourced such as rubber from farmers or synthetic origins, as well as carbon blacks from crude oil. The responsibility of inbound logistics falls upon the suppliers to ship these materials to the manufacturing plants. Moving on will be the conversion stage, where these raw materials are converted into the finished product of car tires through a three-step process of combination, molding, and baking. After which these tires are moved to a warehouse where the supplies are constantly monitored to ensure a 90 days worth of supplies. Through this entire process, all the company's divisions such as sales, marketing, logistics, and manufacturing work in tandem to each other to ensure this process is a success. Finally, the distribution network, where the finished products will be either shipped overseas or distributed locally to distributors, which will reach the wholesalers, and finally the retailers. According to Harley and Khan, the outbound logistic cost will cost approximately about 10% of all sales revenue, and this is usually the responsibility of the manufacturing division of the logistics. Now, once we have talked about the forwarding flow of logistics, it's also important to note the reverse flow of logistics in this industry. Scrap tires come in the equation where they have already outlived their usefulness and reintroduced in the production cycle. Scrap tires are usually organized by tire dealers, transportation companies, and scrap dealers, where it's assembled at a warehouse for sorting. It is then sent for processing, and the residue is used for many different industries, such as the cement industry. The role of information systems has heavy impact in intertwining a company's departments and affiliates into an integrated network to bring tangible benefits to the company. One of the few key primary information systems used in this industry will be the warehouse management system through the form of radio frequency identification or RFID tags. This enables the monitoring and storing of inventory risk alert, as well as instant identification of data to avoid errors of data inputted into the system. When orders are transported to various distributors by their various SKUs, this is supported by a system called the transportation management system. This enables the transportation flow to be optimized to decrease costs as well as lead time delivery. This is done through supply chain visibility and vehicle allocation. Enterprise resource planning are two major parts of information system utilized, where it's able to integrate all functions and departments into one central database. This enables the data, which is so essential to strategic decision making as well as fast configuration. Such example includes SAP or Oracle. It is imperative to note that data should not be termed as information at the same thing, as presented by a concept by Sharma. According to the DIKW hierarchy, data is the beginning stage to information, and thus companies should use information inferred from data to meet their business objectives. The future will see the ever-increasing demand for electrical and autonomous vehicles, which will see the entire logistical approach for the car tire industry to change and require manufacturers to adapt their future strategies in supplying the market. However, Down has noted that autonomous vehicle might not emerge so soon. Nonetheless, when driverless cars can become a reality, passenger safety will be an utmost importance, which brings more regulations for tires in the coming future. Countries like China have already begun regulations to improve their car tire safety. Another question to answer will be environmental and sustainability practices, as significance of it increases over the recent years. Companies like Bridgestone have already incorporated sustainable practices in their end-to-end process. A recent report by the Tyre Industry Project has noted the recycling rate of tires is much higher than most consumer goods such as steel and cardboard. However, this doesn't take concern into undeveloped states nations and disregards emerging markets that hold huge populations such as India and China. Thus, it is imperative that companies uphold their corporate policies in sustainability and environmentalism to reduce carbon footprint in change of markets in the future.